There is a tree on ordinary city streets that has not truly changed since before the dinosaurs. Stay with me. What it does on one specific afternoon in autumn is something no other tree on Earth can do, and almost no one is watching for it. You have probably walked past hundreds of them. They line sidewalks in New York, Tokyo, London, and Seoul. In summer, they are unremarkable, green, tidy, easy to ignore. Then the cold comes, and their fan-shaped leaves turn a hard, uniform gold. And here is a small thing most people never notice. A single one of these trees can live for more than 1,000 years, quietly outlasting every building planted around it. But age is not the strange part. The strange part is how it ends its year. Every other tree lets go of autumn slowly, a leaf at a time, over weeks. This one refuses. It holds. It holds every leaf, all of them, deep into the season. And then, in a window you could almost time with a watch, it lets the entire canopy fall at once. The full story of why is wilder than a falling leaf. And it begins with the thing nearly everyone gets wrong about how a tree lets go. Start with what everyone already knows, because that is the version that feels complete. The tree is the ginkgo. You can recognize it instantly by its leaves, small green fans, split down the middle, unlike any other leaf on any tree you can name. City planners love it. It shrugs off pollution, pests, road salt, and cramped roots that would kill an oak, which is why it has become one of the most widely planted street trees in the world. For most of the year, it does the ordinary work of a tree. It photosynthesizes. It grows. It shades a stretch of pavement. When autumn arrives, it turns gold, and people stop to take photos. And that seems to be the whole story. A tough, pretty ornamental that happens to have an unusual leaf. That is the ginkgo, as almost everyone files it away. A decoration, a survivor of parking lots. And what happens by the end of this story is the part no one expects. Because that comfortable little summary is hiding something far older and far stranger underneath. To see it, you first have to understand something that sounds boring and turns out to be the key to everything. How a normal tree actually lets go of its leaves. A leaf does not simply die and drop. Losing it is a decision the tree makes, cell by cell, and it is a careful one. As the days shorten and the temperature falls, a tree begins pulling its resources back inward, draining the green chlorophyll out of each leaf, which is why the hidden yellows and oranges suddenly appear. Then, at the base of every leaf stem, it builds a special zone of weak, corky cells called the abscission layer. This layer is a controlled break line. The tree grows it slowly, seals off the plumbing behind it, and lets the leaf snap free in the wind. Here is the load-bearing detail. In a normal tree, this happens on each leaf's own schedule. A branch in full sun finishes first. A shaded branch lags behind. A cold night pushes some leaves over the edge while others hang on. The result is exactly what we all picture as autumn, a steady, ragged rain of leaves stretched across 4 to 6 weeks. Oaks, maples, birches, they all let go this way, gradually, unevenly, each leaf reading its own little pocket of light and temperature. It is a slow negotiation between the tree and the weather. That is the rule. Nearly every deciduous tree on the planet follows it, except one of them doesn't, and it is the tree we started with. The ginkgo refuses to let go slowly. It holds every leaf, then drops nearly the entire canopy in a single day. People film it every autumn, a tree dressed in full gold at dawn, standing bare over a ring of its own leaves by dusk. So how does one tree drop everything at once, when every tree around it takes weeks? Here is the part the pretty ornamental story misses. In an oak, each leaf ripens its own break line on its own schedule, but in a ginkgo, every leaf builds that break line in near-perfect synchrony. They all reach the edge of letting go at the same moment, then hold there, fully loaded, waiting, not reacting to the weather one leaf at a time, but but already prepared. So when the first hard frost arrives, it does not nudge a few leaves loose. It pulls a single trigger, and the whole canopy answers together. The slow negotiation other trees make with autumn simply is not happening here. The ginkgo made its decision weeks earlier, in secret, and kept it hidden behind green leaves until one cold night released it all at once. Which raises a stranger question: why would a tree evolve to let go like this? Nothing at all like the trees standing beside it. To understand why, you have to stop thinking of the ginkgo as a modern street tree at all. It only looks like its neighbors. Genetically, it is almost completely alone. The Ginkgo biloba, to say its full name once, is the sole surviving species of an entire branch of the plant kingdom. Every close relative it ever had is extinct. There are no other ginkgos, not a genus of cousins, not a family of similar trees. One species, standing by itself, at the end of a line that reaches back more than 200 million years. Fossil leaves pressed into ancient stone are nearly identical to the fan you can pick up off the sidewalk today. Same split down the middle, same veins fanning out with no central rib. This tree shaded dinosaurs. It watched them appear, and it watched them vanish, and it kept growing, essentially unchanged, while the entire modern world of flowering trees evolved around it. And that is the clue the ornamental story throws away. The synchronized leaf drop is not a quirk. It is old, a strategy carried down from a colder, harsher ancient world, hardwired long before oaks and maples existed to do it the slow way. The ginkgo is not copying autumn. It is running a far older program, and the trees around it are the newcomers. A ginkgo tree survived the atomic bomb, the one dropped on Hiroshima in 1945, and grew back the next spring. 6 of them stood barely a mile from a blast that flattened the city, charred black and stripped bare. Everyone assumed they were dead. Instead, they pushed out fresh buds and kept growing, and several are still alive today. That is not luck. It is the same ancient toughness that carried the ginkgo through more than 200 million years and every mass extinction in between. A ginkgo can be cut down, burned, or poisoned and simply resprout from its base, and it shrugs off the pollution, salt, and disease that kill the trees around it. And that is the quiet reason we chose it in the first place. We planted the ginkgo on hard city streets and parking lots for exactly one reason. It is nearly impossible to kill. The toughest, oldest tree on the block became the most convenient one. Its endurance made it invisible. We filed a living fossil under low-maintenance ornamental and stopped looking. Nobody talks about the ginkgo because it never asks to be noticed. It just keeps standing, keeps surviving. And once a year, for a single afternoon, it does the one thing that gives away how old it truly is. So the next time an ordinary street corner is suddenly buried in gold overnight, look up at the bare tree that did it. It is not decoration, and it is not really keeping time with the season the way its neighbors do. It is the last of its kind, running a 200-million-year-old habit in plain sight, and it has simply been waiting, patiently, for the cold to let it show you.